Parasite Eve, an IP that Square Enix continues to sit on and not do anything with, whether it's a remake, a remaster, or an entirely new entry. We've been waiting years for it to be acknowledged once again. But until that happens, we have games like Parasite Mutant, which clearly wears its Parasite Eve inspiration proudly on its sleeve. And in today's video, we're going to be going over that demo, my thoughts and opinions, and I'm hoping you can join me today for this one. So with that all being said, what is up guys, Jen here, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Now, I have only recently played Parasite Eve. I have two videos on the channel going over my thoughts and impressions of both the first Parasite Eve and Parasite Eve 2. Now, my, in a nutshell, thoughts and opinions on those games, I think Parasite Eve is fantastic. It nails the atmosphere. I absolutely love the combat, as much as it might be considered clunky nowadays. I like what was carried on to Parasite Eve 2, though I do think the story lost itself and it did lean a little bit too heavily on Resident Evil similarities in the survival horror, as opposed to those really great RPG mechanics that the first Parasite Eve brought to the table. So please go give those videos a watch, and if you like the content you are seeing, please consider hitting the like button on this video. It helps out a lot. And if you want to stick around for some more RPG content, you're already in the right place. Just hit that subscribe button. Now let's move on to the subject at hand now, Parasite Mutant. This is clearly inspired by Parasite Eve. We'll go over a lot of things in today's video. It has a demo out right now, so if you want to go play it, go over to the Steam store and give it a play. But we're going to dive in. I'm quite excited for the full release of this game. I am very interested in what it brought to the table. So allow me to set the scene for Parasite Mutant. Parasite Mutant is a sci-fi horror RPG set in the distant future. Psionic agent Nova was sent on a mission to an abandoned and secluded island city filled of horrifying creatures, not knowing that what happened on the island will completely change her fate. So a very vague introduction there, but it does set the scene. You kind of want that isolated jumping in point. It doesn't go too much into the story here. There's not much voice acting, and I wouldn't want it. It really keeps the atmosphere pretty locked in and gives you that Parasite Eve feel. I did leave the demo wanting more, and I'm very interested to learn more about Nova and this city and why we're here and why mutants have broken out and what the backstory is. And it does a really good job of doing a little bit of that with some of the files left around Resident Evil style across the world. That's about everything when it comes to story. Very vague. It's a demo. I'm not expecting much, but I am interested. So let's dive into the meat of this demo, and that is its gameplay. But before we dive in, I think we can all agree that games are getting expensive, and I love video games, and what I love even more are cheap video games. That's why I want to talk to you about Instant Gaming, a website where you can get games at much cheaper prices. Games like the original Final Fantasy VII, it's $11.99 on Steam. On Instant Gaming, it's only $5.82. Maybe you want to play the remake of Final Fantasy VII. Both Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, you're looking at $99. On Instant Gaming, you can get both of them at $57.33. Maybe you want more survival horror. Resident Evil Requiem is coming out very soon, and it's on Steam currently to pre-order for $69.99. Instant Gaming is just over $60. It's a no-brainer if you want all the latest or retro games, so go use my links down below. Not only will you be saving money, but you'll be supporting the channel. So go and happy shopping. The gameplay of Parasite Mutant, it again just feels like more Parasite Eve. It's simply just a spiritual successor. Let's talk about the exploration throughout Parasite Mutant, because it's a short demo, we don't get too much, but we get those classic fixed camera angles from Resident Evil and Parasite Eve, really tightening up the suspense. There are various puzzles throughout the game, whether it's trying to look through files for someone's secret code to their computer, or maybe there's clues for a code for a locker. It's It's all there, and it really gets you searching every nut and cranny. And they've taken a great quality of life from the recent Resident Evil games when it comes to its map system. So essentially, when you're in an area and that part of the map is red, it means there's something still there for you to find. So you are really searching through every nut and cranny on each section of the map. And when you found everything, it's green, which is a great thing. It keeps me moving and making sure that I've got everything. So I'm glad that it's introduced here. Just the atmosphere and just the look of this game really adds to the exploration. And again, you can't beat those tight fixed camera angles and the way it just kind of follows. I think it's something that we've all wanted for quite a while. Next up, we have the combat, and if you played OG Parasite Eve, you know exactly what you're getting stuck into. They call it the ATC, the Active Time Chains, which combines the popular active time battle system used in RPGs that we know and love from Final Fantasy and etc. And they add in a 3-segmented chain system. So essentially what will happen, if you play Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's essentially like an ATB bar, and once you get sections, you can do certain things. So when the first bar fills up, you can use an attack, whether it's your gun or if it's your melee weapon. If you fill up 2 bars, that's when you can then use a item, or you can use a special ability, or you can chain attack, whether it can be 2 sets of shooting attacks or 2 sets of melee attacks, or you want to mix it up. So it's always nice to just make sure that you're avoiding the enemy attacks, which you'll slowly start to learn. Just like OG Parasite Eve, you're going to get hit a lot, but as soon as you start seeing those AoEs and where they like to attack and how they attack, using sound cues and just visual cues as well, it's just a nice tight combat system that I can see evolving through into the full release. I really like picking up the submachine gun and then making sure that I'm in the right range to get the best attacks in, and you know, really getting to grips with the system. It's really nice to dive in, and I think this is just a teaser of what we're going to be getting. Now, with a combat system, you need a good leveling up system, and again, this calls back to Parasite Eve but makes it a bit more modern and a bit more easier to understand. Essentially, it's like the classic equipment's progression system from Parasite Eve. So you'll attach various modules onto equipment or enhance their equipment using plus points which are obtained through combat, as well as your experience. You can also remove things. You can then put weapons into other weapons and take their stats. You can increase the hit rate. You can increase the range of your ranged weapons. You can increase the damage. There's so much to dive into and mess around with. I'm sure it's a system that can be broken, but it's a nice simple system that you'll get to grips with quite fast and not feel too overwhelmed with. Last but not least, there's the music. The soundtrack actually really surprised me. I like the ambience it added to what we've talked about in its exploration and just these really intense tracks. And then the final boss that you fight in the demo has quite an epic boss theme. I like the boss battle music. There's save rooms as well, which I forgot to mention in exploration, but it's got its own theme and it's quite a banger, putting it up with those survival horror save room themes. It is quite a treat, and if this hasn't sold you already, please go check out that demo. Give it a play and let me know your thoughts. There's going to be more things that are going to be added in the final release that they've talked about, like New Game Plus, which allows you to take through everything that you've had in the previous game through another playthrough, which is going to be great for like better playthroughs and faster playthroughs, or OP and just really plow through kind of playthroughs. And then there's an outfit system where we're going to be able to change our hairstyles, colors, outfits, and much more. So there's going to be a lot of customization and just a good time really when it comes to Parasite Mutant. The Parasite Eve references are quite obvious, and I am very happy with what they've come here. They've definitely took what we all know and love, fine-tune it for a more modern take, and give us a good game, which I am excited to play when it comes to its full release. Let me know in the comment section down below if you've checked out Parasite Mutant. Do you plan on playing it? Are you wanting a Parasite remake, remaster, or a new entry? Are you wanting to get another game like The Third Birthday? I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below. I appreciate your time, and until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.